Khwan, how do you kind of keep the confidence of the team? I mean, it's been a tough couple of weeks. You knew it was going to be tough, but how do you kind of keep confidence going?
Just steady. Just keep talking to each other. Just keeping each other up. It's no secret or anything like that. Just got to keep moving. They're tough games. We just can't linger on them too much, and I think we all know that. So,
Coach said after the game that he thought maybe that Duke loss was lingering a bit. Do you feel like it has?
Me personally, I don't think so. I think during the Syracuse game, our shots wasn't falling, and that kind of led to lack of defense on our end, and that's something that we can't let happen. We try to pride ourselves on defense, and I think that's our best offense. That's what gets us going, and we kind of failed doing that. We just can't let that happen.
You made those 2 threes late in the game, and basically the game was over, and they didn't matter a lot. But did it make you think a little bit, maybe relax and play that way all the time, and maybe this shot will go in better?
Oh yeah, definitely. At times I feel like I worry too much, or worry too much about getting the right shot, and maybe if I think less on that, they'll start falling more.
What do you think's happened to the offense in the last 2 games in 10 minutes? Why aren't you scoring as well, shooting as well as you did earlier? Not you personally, but the team.
The team, I'm not really sure. That's just how it goes sometimes. Probably just need to get in the gym more, get more shots up. There's really no excuse for that, I don't think.
You mean for what? No excuse for not getting in the gym? You mean?
No excuse for just knocking down shots. For they're gonna fall when they're gonna fall.
Virginia plays a similar defense to you guys, back line or man-to-man, I guess, glorified man-to-man. Does that make preparation a little easier? You're going to be more familiar with the defense, or how do you look at that?
Not any. We don't look at it too differently. We're just going to go out there and play. Worry about focus on their scout and just attack the game.
Everybody, well, at least most people, the most you hear about is talking about their defense, the pack line, etc. But talk a little about them offensively. They may not be real fast-paced, but they're just very efficient, aren't they? How do they do that?
I think with Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome, they're really good off the ball. They're really great shooters, shooting in the 40s. I think they're real effective, like losing their man and moving without the ball. And that's something that we gotta be locked in on, and just stay focused and locked in the entire possession.
Can you take some pointers from that for you offensively as well, watching how well they move without the ball and realize, hey, we need to do that too?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's always good. Offensively, we just gotta do it, work on it.
Going from facing the zone with Syracuse to the pack line with Virginia, how does the preparation between those two differ, and is it difficult because of the quick turnaround?
I mean, not if we're locked in. I'm like after the loss to Syracuse, we all met, and it is a quick turnaround, but it's behind us now, and we gotta focus on Virginia and how they play defensively, and just move forward with that, and just be ready to attack it.
Khwan, I don't know if you'll be matched up against him or not, but just looking at Kyle Guy as a defensive guy like you are, looking at Kyle Guy and how sometimes his unorthodox shots, I mean, he'll wing one off, from way out and he'll bank things. How difficult is he to guard, because he's such a good shooter and can do so many things?
I mean, you just gotta live with it. He's a tough shot taker, tough shot maker. You just gotta live with a couple of those falling, and just I'm gonna stay confident in my D. I'm gonna stay aggressive, guarding them aggressively, and just worry about that when it happens.
Khwan, how would you describe, I guess, the mood of the team the last maybe week or so, since it seemed like, and correct me if you have a different view of this, even after the Clemson game, you guys were kind of not not thrilled with the way that ended, and it seemed like again on Wednesday night that you guys were kind of frustrated and down. So how has that kind of behind the scenes looked to you?
I think, it all started with the Clemson game. We kind of got away from how we play, and we're slowly reeling back to getting to how we play. We just got to get locked back in. That's something that we talk about every day. We're off the court. There's nothing going on. We're all friends. It's just a slump. And we're gonna get back right.
Khwan, you guys mentioned that you guys met the other day. Was that just a players only thing? Was that with the coaches? What was kind of went into that?
Yeah, we always meet outside of the coaches, before and after, after games, after tough losses. We may not talk that night. We just gotta let that soak in and just think about what we did individually. Then we'll come together the next week and just talk about stuff, and then we'll end up meeting as a team with the coaches, and they'll give us feedback on that, and then we'll talk again and just correct what went wrong.
So what went into this particular meeting with just the players?
Just we're telling each other we got to give more. Earlier in the season when everything was falling in place, we were playing hard, we were playing for each other, and we really didn't have any worries. But that's kind of what we talked about, just playing to win, playing for each other. When we play for each other, we're gonna come out with wins. That's just what happens. So.
You've had some highly ranked, opponents come in here and played very well against them. Save the last 9 minutes against Duke. What's the mentality playing against some of these very highly ranked teams, especially in this building?
Could you repeat that?
I'll try. Just you've played well against highly ranked opponents in this building. Just wondering what the mentality is when you go up against some of these highly ranked teams, especially with the home court edge here.
Just try to take advantage, of the opportunity. Many teams don't get the chances that we're getting. We just gotta attack them. They're beatable teams. I think we can play with any team in the country, and we all know that. So we just gotta attack them and be aggressive.
Okay. Go ahead.
Chris, what are your thoughts on why the offense has struggled so much lately?
Playing good teams, good defensive teams. I mean, we've got to be able to generate good shots for one another. I thought in the first half against Syracuse, the times we got the ball where we wanted, we didn't make the right play. Whether it was a dump down to our big or a spray out, and the times we did make the right play, we didn't make the shot. So again, we played two of the better defensive teams in our league. Last two games completely different from one another, and fortunately we play a team that's not as good defensively tomorrow.
What makes Virginia's defense so good?
Well, they know who they are. They have a system that they don't change from game to game, so it allows them to continually sharpen their saw at what they do, whether that's trap the post, whether that's hard hedge a ball screen. Their players are always in the same position defensively. They don't change from opponent to opponent. So they're building in their system all year long. They're improving in their system all year long. I think a lot of times teams try to maybe change their defense a little bit based on what an opponent brings to the table. And, there's two schools of thought. And Coach Bennett and his staff are probably on the very, very strong end of one thought, and that is we are going to be who we are no matter who we play. And so that going in, they're going to be very, very physical. They're going to crowd the floor. They're going to help one another. They're going to take great pride in keeping the ball in front of them on dribble penetration. And they're going to hard hedge ball screens and trap the post.
It's kind of an echo of what you had to say the other day about Syracuse and how they were committed to their system. As you, as a coach, having worked and played in various systems, how do you decide what is your philosophy and how did that evolve?
That's a great question. I think you're probably the culmination of all the people and experiences that you've had as both a player and as a coach. You sort of figure out what you really felt like was effective, what you believed in your heart you could teach, and so I really fell in love with how we defended at Xavier when I was with Sean Miller, and we take a lot of the same principles from Coach Bennett's dad in terms of the pack line. We would rather be a team that sort of shrinks the floor rather than opens it up by defending passing lanes. And so I'm probably getting a little bit into the weeds, but I saw the success that it had, and I felt like I believed in it, and so that's why I decided to teach it.
Chris, their defense, and rightly so much credit this year, but offensively they're so much better than maybe what they have been, and they're very potent on offense.
They, I haven't been in the league, so any comparison I would have to, with previous Virginia teams wouldn't be part of my history. I don't really, I know people have talked about, hey, they're more plodding on offense in years past, but they have two of the best shooters in our league. They got 4 guys who are shooting over 40% from 3 in their starting lineup. So, they play a very unique brand on both ends of the floor. They're very smart players in terms of reading defenses. And, he's sprinkled in a little bit more ball screen continuity stuff than he has in years past, at least I've been told. And so when you have good players and you have good spacing, you generally can be a pretty good offensive team.
Chris, Khwan said that the players met the other day and just kind of talked about getting back to playing for each other. Did you sense that maybe they've gone away from that a little bit in the last few weeks?
I wasn't privy to the meeting. My biggest concern has been our energy level. I don't think there's ever been a time where our guys haven't played together or for one another, but I think our energy level hasn't been the same in the last game and a half, couple games, and probably a little bit of a hangover from the Duke game. But at some point, our group has to worry about games in the windshield and not the rearview mirror. But easier said than done. I think hopefully the finality as we come down to the last 4 games of the regular season, the conference tournament, and postseason tournament. There's a different type of energy and spirit with our team. If there isn't, then we'll be one of those teams that you watch collapse and you always shake your head. I do think the character in our locker room is a lot better than that, but our play has to be reflective of that, and our energy and our spirit has to be reflective of that with the teams that we're playing.
Chris, I don't know how much attention you've paid, but the NBA reportedly has made a proposal to lower the age limit and effectively eliminate the one and done. That's not been an issue here or at Xavier, but what impact do you see that having on college basketball if it's enacted?
Well, it'll shrink the pool down, but best teams will still get the best players. Kids will have the opportunities that a lot of them had wanted and feel like it would only be fair. But, for every Zion that's out there are a lot of kids that need college, in my opinion, and not just for their on-court development, which, for every Zion and LeBron and guys like that are out there, there are a lot that you don't hear of in 2 or 3 years. The NBA just moves on to the next. You have your draft party, you're all excited, and then you're in the G League and overseas a couple of years later. So I think for those kids that feel like that's the route they want to take, that's awesome to have that type of opportunity. But I do think that it'd be foolish if you thought that college wasn't a great avenue to become a better player, become more mature as a person, so you can handle some things that you find in the real world when you get to where it's a business.
As a follow-up, how many players do you think are ready out of high school to play in the NBA?
I don't think it's a static number every year. I think, certain classes are just a lot better than other classes. Ready for the NBA, maybe two guys a year. I mean, really ready for the NBA. Could they make a roster? Sure, that number would probably expand, but like really ready, ready to contribute, ready to become that guy that gets a second contract where you're highly sought. One or two. I mean, it's tough. It's a big jump.
Chris, just wondering, a year ago, if you remember watching the Virginia finish here, maybe what your reaction was from afar, and I guess if fans talk to you about that here, about maybe erasing that history.
I remember thinking, how can a team not inbound the ball? I mean, you see those wacky things that happen, all the time. Every year, whether it's that. I think Missouri State had that half-court bank shot after they stole the ball with 3 seconds left. I mean, it's just there's so many games being played, and you're going to have moments like that. I can imagine the tough moment that was in that locker room, but again, we got to worry about controlling the game on Saturday and not worrying about a year ago.
Speaking of that and the Marquette three-pointer issue from back in November, is there someone on your staff who is responsible for saying, hey, you can run the baseline, hey, you can do this, you can do that in these situations?
I'm the person that's responsible for you can run the baseline, how many timeouts we have, because I'm the closest player or the closest coach or person that can reach our players. When we have timeouts or we have moments where the ball goes out of bounds, you'll have a quartet of guys behind me, making sure that we get the right instructions out.
Anything else, Coach? Good. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you.